Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking. Please put on your prayer chute and prepare for jump.
It's Mercury retrograde. That means it's time for our Soulmart.me Mercury retrograde sale. Like a 1-hour reading with Christopher Witecki, normally $159, retrogrades back to $95.10. Or try a 15-minute psychic look reading with Zen Shoemaker. She retrogrades down to $45 for a 15-minute reading. Or try the Act 3 Orbits Report. And the Jupiter Gets Emotional retrogrades the same to 1111. At Soulmart.me, mind, body, and soul improvement.
Soul Garden.
Namaste, and welcome to Soul Horoscopes Orbits Edition. From my webcam to yours, I'm Christopher Ray Witecki, your astrologer and soul biographer, here to help you put the pieces of your soul story together. And before we dive into your horoscope, I just want to give some gratitude to all those who have donated to soulgarden.tv in the last week. Thank you so much. And for those people who have purchased readings as well. We are continuing the sale. It has helped our situation, and we are very grateful. Also, this is a special horoscope designed to cover the entire 10-day period of before and after the solar eclipse that's coming up, and I'll be talking about that. So this is a special soul horoscope designed to help you through this quantum intention time. So the sun is in sexy Scorpio. We are working on our intimacy, our boundaries, our transformation, and we're working on committing to infinity. That's how serious Scorpios take it. We're going to deal with our core boundaries, and a solar eclipse is going to give us a quantum shift on November 3rd. Now, the moon signs most affected from the eclipse on are Scorpio in the eclipse, then Sag, Capricorn's very affected, and Aquarius is at the end of the week. The moon signs most affected by this, of course, are going to be the Tauruses and Scorpios, Sag and Geminis, Capricorns and Cancers, and Aquarius and Leos. But the orange ones are the moon signs that might go into depression or the dark side based on the fact that it's the anti-sign right now. Now, looking at orbits, man, I want to point out what the solar eclipse is going to do to our chakras. You may not know this, but Scorpio actually rules two chakras, the back of the throat and the front of the solar plexus there. The orange chakra works with Taurus, and that's what gives Scorpio the ability to rule the number 0 and complete a boundary around the soul. So this particular eclipse is going to be a tug-of-war in some senses because of the Earth is going to be located in Taurus, and the sun and moon, of course, in Scorpio. So this really is the creation and death transit, and a very powerful one. And each of your horoscopes, I'll be talking about how you can have some quantum creation in this solar eclipse. Now, looking at the planets, the most compelling thing to me is this Yod, which is a big part of the build-up to the solar eclipse. It's basically God giving us the finger, sacred geometry here, pointing to Uranus to innovate our egos. So in your horoscopes, I'll be talking about how you want to channel these other two parts of yourself, the new boundaries and your aggression, into the evolution of your ego and the evolution of how you act or react in society. Now, this square is still also happening, and it's important for you to know that because the Yod is being affected by the square, which means part of the innovation deals with you have to innovate or revolutionize the rules you subscribe to. And then finally, this black Lilith Grand Trine really reaches its most apex important point. We've been having this trine for weeks. This is our emotional healing underneath the seams of what we're seeing on top of our realities. And ultimately, because of the solar eclipse hitting one corner of the trine, you're going to see this issue carry out in the rest of your life. And I'll be talking about that in the horoscopes as well. Another thing I want to point out, which is really groovy, is actually this. Venus is entering and now conjuncting the galactic center this week. This is where the sun had conjuncted for the Mayan shift, etc. So this means we're going to start sensing some real high cosmic vibrations coming down from the heavens. Another interesting thing here, this is the party, Mercury, Saturn, and the sun in Scorpio. But actually, this whole eclipse is happening in the constellation of Ophiuchus. You've probably heard before that there's a 13th constellation. Well, kind of not so much true. The truth is, this is Ophiuchus here, and this is the Scorpio constellation. But it's not that there's a 13th constellation. It's that they used in the sky one little marker to represent the whole box of Scorpio. And so some astronomers who don't understand astrology assume that because there's extra space there, that we can just fit another constellation there in our zodiac. But the truth is that Scorpio rules the whole quadrant. It's just that Scorpio, in a very hiding way, is hiding in the corner. And that's part of actually the mythology of Scorpio, is that the constellation is, of course, hiding in the Scorpio den, waiting for some victim to fall in there, right? Maybe Ophiuchus. All right, well, that's all I have for now. Let's take the ascension elevator up and see what's going on with you.
Folks, this is your captain speaking. We realize you have a choice in the astrologers you choose to fly with, and we'd just like to thank you for flying with Christopher Witecki.
Hello, my heroes, and welcome to 33,000 feet for a bird's eye view of you. Well, we have a lot of changes going on, and I got to say, Aries are one of the few that will change the most. That's because you are changing your emotional boundaries, and the truth is our emotional boundary, which is Pluto, and Pluto is the last line of the solar system. If anyone was going to come visit our solar system, they've got to get through Pluto. That's the gate. That's the energy that says stay out. And that's the part that Aries are changing right now. What they let in and what they don't let in. That's literally right in front of you with a compliment or with pain. And the transformation of your boundaries, of where the final line is in fact the transformation of your shape, because our lines define our shape. And that means everything in what we manifest is, at the end of the day, defined by our emotional, personal boundaries. So you are about to change shape. You are a caterpillar that's going to be a butterfly. And just so you know, butterfly is not really set to launch till 2015. So I want you to have a clear understanding of how long this is going to take, Mr. or Miss Impatient Aries. However, you will get there, says the Taurus, your friend and brother, who knows more of the timing, but doesn't have the courage to jump like an Aries. So we need to be together as friends. So this is a time where in the first half before the solar eclipse, you're going to get rid of your old trust issues. I don't care how many times you've failed or not been there for yourself, you get off all the hooks right now. You get to forgive yourself right now for any mistakes you've ever made where you crossed personal lines with yourself, where you allowed your lines to be crossed with yourself. It's totally okay. The last time that the universe even worked on this was 1982 and 1983. So what you're doing right now, Aries and Aries rising, is you are for the first time looking at your personal boundaries seriously. That's Saturn, Sirius, in 30 years. So depending on your age. And if you were a child during this time, you're for the first time addressing why you have issues with boundaries. And you're for the first time healing issues with boundaries. So as we start this week, we're going to begin with boundaries. Your yeses, your nos, and your limits. It's time to be very clear on what those are, because the universe needs to build on top of that. Then we move into building trust and privacy and security, which are personal boundaries that are custom made to build what you need for security. Everyone needs custom made boundaries, custom made lampshades, custom made things to block what we don't want, because we're all custom shapes and custom sizes. In the state of Scorpio, we're going to move from step 8, which is deciding what to get rid of in your life that you don't trust, all the way up to step 16, which is that you'll be holding space where you sense things are going next in your metamorphosis, in your transformation. Now, Mercury's retrograde during this whole time, so as you are transforming yourself, you are also wondering, what is transformation? You are questioning transformation in itself. You are questioning the potential and the limits of what you may be able to pull off in itself, while you're also deciding what you will choose in the transformation. So it's a very powerful time. Now, Jupiter in the state of Cancer is your emotional state, and this is what has been working in concert with personal boundary changes, especially in the Black Lilith Grand Trine. This said, the universe is not going to push your emotional limits any further for a while. It was pushed from the beginning of July until now, but retrogrades on November 7th. So you get an emotional break. That's the good news. And you can now fill in the gaps and begin to polish how you self-nurture and how you take care of the inner infant. And so Black Lilith is cutting away your childhood and emotional karma forever. However, it will continue to go direct while Jupiter retrogrades, and the two will meet. In fact, they meet on November 27th, at which point you will feel compelled to act on your future emotional life. But you have to be clear of all of your emotional karma on that day, because you don't want to remanifest with the fertility of Jupiter old shift, right? So I'll be warning people in the Guardian Agency and in the horoscopes too. So looking at the week leading up to the solar eclipse, the real key day is October 31st, which is Halloween. And that's when you're making a decision about what you need to face in yourself that you can no longer trust. What are the parts in yourself you can no longer trust? Time to be honest, call a spade a spade. You don't have to tell your husband or wife yet, but you do need to look in the mirror and be honest with yourself on this day. And so Halloween is spooking you that way. And the moon is in Libra, and so emotions are wishy-washy about relationships, and it's human relationships that are maybe pushing you to be honest with yourself on Thursday and Friday. On Friday, you're going to take action based on that self-honesty, which means if you are honest about having, let's say, a drinking problem, that's when you would maybe go to AA. If you're honest about having a problem with your checking account, you would go to you would hand the books over to your wife and say, look, I've screwed up here. But you take honesty and act on it on Friday. Or if you've let yourself down and say, we haven't been on our diet for 6 months, you get your ass on the diet on Friday. So it's not just like being accountable for others. In fact, it's not that at all. It's being accountable to yourself and only working with others to help you be accountable to yourself, okay? When you are accountable to yourself, you feel a strength you've never felt before. You feel an integrity you've never understood before. So just be there for yourself and you will feel amazing. On Saturday, you're loving and trusting you haven't done anything wrong and that you've made the right choices. And so you're holding that space on Saturday. The moon moves from Libra into Scorpio in preparation for the solar eclipse. And so you're starting to feel vulnerable by Saturday night, just so you know. Saturday night will be tough. It'll be a vulnerable night, all right? It's where you are realizing the truth of your feelings and where they're going. And the solar eclipse is making a much bigger deal out of everything than it normally would. Now, looking at the week of the solar eclipse and light cast day, it happens on Sunday, but let's review some of the slow-moving planets first. Pluto is saying the old career is dead. The old future is dead. The vision of what you thought the future was not correct. It is going to be different now. And so it's time to just act and move forward on what you see in front of you. It's a new territory. Pluto in Capricorn was the American Revolution. So like the American Revolution, we don't know what these United States will look like. And you don't know either. It's okay though. And that's what Neptune at 2 degrees says. It's okay to be totally self-compassionate to yourself, especially when it comes to your own inner faith, to be totally a merciful king or queen to yourself, to not beat yourself up spiritually, to keep the spiritual channel open in yourself instead of shutting it down with your self-judgment. So that's vital. Uranus in Aries, your sign or your rising sign, if you're an Aries rising, says your ego is not the operating ego that you're going to be using. This ego is a temporary ego. Expect to change it. Expect to change your character. Expect to change the actions that you're going to take. It is not what you think it's going to be. And Saturn at 13 degrees is where all this change is happening. 13 says it's going to be nuclear through the light cast day, which means that you want to remain open to boundaries or options you hadn't even considered before. Just remain open. You can turn it down, but remain open. Hear and receive every offer from the universe and hear it and digest it. You want to understand why you're manifesting certain things too. Then on Tuesday, Saturn goes to 14 degrees. So just 2 days after the event of the eclipse, Saturn is already changing that self-trust and it's already modifying. So that's really groovy. And then Jupiter, this is the part that's been pushing you to your emotional limits. This will push to 20 degree ceiling and then will retrograde on Thursday. All right, so You will get a break from emotional development. You will retrograde. You will backtrack. But remember, Black Lilith goes forward, so you want to stay karma clean. Now, on Light Cast Day, it actually happens around 5:30 a.m. Pacific, 8:30 a.m.-ish Eastern. It's at 11 degrees, so it's a blast of integrity. Therefore, anything out of integrity will fall apart if there's lying, cheating, anything like that, okay? And should you be nervous? Yes. I'm not going to lie to you. The universe is blasting the world with integrity. Anything out of integrity falls apart. Anything with integrity grows. This is the way God universe gets her way when people are not being good. And I don't even think it's like God universe. The universe just cycles this stuff in. So we're at that point. It's bad luck for those who are doing poorly. I mean, doing poor things to others out of integrity. It's good luck for those who've been in integrity, okay? So, and you'll find it's both. I mean, I try to be in integrity, and it's like, damn it, that damn lemonade stand I built just broke. It falls apart. It's like because something behind it wasn't securing it. So integrity doesn't necessarily mean a moral intention, just so you guys know. It means a structure that is sound, all right? So on Monday, you want to hold open for how your manifestations might come. In your case, you're looking for security, you're looking for something you can trust, you can hold on to, and so you're opening up and just holding on to that. Then on Tuesday, things go nuclear. Something happens on Tuesday. I know what it is astrologically. Saturn goes to 14 degrees. We have several planets ruled by Uranus. The sun in Scorpio is ruled by Uranus. The moon's in Sag, which is unlimited possibilities. You add all that up, you've got a nuclear quantum shift. And that Tuesday is the technical quantum shift that I've been predicting for a few weeks now. I think by Tuesday you will see the light. If not, you'll see it on Wednesday where the light bulb is. It really happens in that 24-hour period. It's quantum to the light bulb. When it happens, is kind of up to the individual. However, emotions are in Sagittarius, so you're very philosophical, you're in a learning state, you're open to unlimited possibilities, and for your emotions to be open to that gives you the potential to actually see what's going on. Now, looking at Thursday, Jupiter goes retrograde, the moon moves into Capricorn, you get serious about the future. Thursday is a bit of a test of faith. If you can align your heart and your mind, the butterflies in your stomach will be released, and you will feel very good. It's a Venus-ruled day. You'll also feel the pressure of the emotions come off of your plate, and because it's emotions, you'll probably be exhausted or might manifest the cold or the flu or something like that as an excuse to rest for 4 days. You might want to go ahead and rest for 4 days anyways. You're going to be exhausted when Jupiter retrogrades on Thursday. I'm just saying. Friday, things get spiritual, and you are, oops, I keep putting the wrong button. And you want to log in and ask God, universe, where do you think you're going with this trust? What should you trust next? What can you trust next? All right. So Friday's a dear Lord, please help me with that. And then on Saturn Day, it's time to actually decide where you can trust yourself and where you can trust others. So in this whole week, after building the self-trust foundation, you're also trying to extend that foundation and see, well, can I trust, this employee, my wife, my husband, my dog? Can I trust my dog not to poop on the carpet? Hey, that all falls. I mean, everything in your life applies. But Saturday is when you have to really decide. The universe wants to know, do you trust it or not, right? So let's parachute to the bottom, and I've got a Serious Joy toy designed for Aries and Aries Risings and to help you get through the week. So right after this, take your parachute, and I'll see you in Witecki Theater.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking. Please put on your parachute and prepare for jump.
It's Mercury retrograde. That means it's time for our Soulmart.me Mercury retrograde sale. Like a 1-hour reading with Christopher Witecki, normally $159, retrogrades back to $95.10. Or try a 15-minute psychic look reading with Zen Shoemaker. She retrogrades down to $45 for a 15-minute reading. Or try the Act 3 Orbits Report. And the Jupiter Gets Emotional retrogrades the same to 1111. At Soulmart.me, mind, body, and soul improvement.
And namaste, my heroes. How'd you like your jump? Was it good? I bet you're the only sign that likes that commercial. So this is time for your Serious Joy toy, and step one is, because you're changing your trust, I gave you full permission to blow up all the old bridges. What's a bridge? It's a connection to a person, place, or thing. right? Now, be gentle. I say blow up because I want you to be excited. You're an Aries, so you like things blowing up. But, make it a controlled explosion so no one gets hurt, all right? But blow up all the bridges that you don't want to keep. You have full permission. Everyone's lives are changing at the same time anyways. And so if you're the one that starts the change, it doesn't matter. They would have had it happen anyways. You need to take care of number one, you. Just don't hurt anyone in the process. Step 2, it's now time to navigate on Lightcast Day your future bridges and tunnels. That means I want to build a bridge to Soul Garden. I want to build a bridge to that person over there. I want to build a tunnel underneath this and be able to come on the other side over here. These are your new trust and intimacy foundations. And so you can think like an engineer with a hard hat and really think as you encounter people and whatnot, I want to build a bridge to this, or we need to demolish this. Yeah, this isn't working for me. Our bridge is tilting in your favor, and you just don't seem to notice. All right, my Rams, that's all I have. I'll see you in 7 days with more. Thank you, as always, for everything and your support. Until then, live, love, be.
SoulGarden.tv.
Live, love, be was my phrase, man. I told him when I was in prison.
In prison?
Well, the fucking establishment, man. The state of California, it's all Nixon run, man. I was in for 25 years.
For medicinal marijuana?
It wasn't medicinal back then, man. They considered it a crime. Welcome to the establishment, kids. For my sacrifice, you can now smoke it up anytime you want. I did the time. You can do the crime.
Thank